What is up, everybody? This is JP representing jpfitnesspro.com. Today I'm coming at you with a video about a topic that's been kind of bugging me lately. And the reason why it's been bugging me is that you may or may not follow this channel, and it's from a video that I recently seen, but it's from a Scott Herman video. Just to start before I continue on with the video is that I have nothing against Scott Herman. He seems like a nice person. He just seems to me, he has a big channel and a big following. He just seems to me to be very ignorant in his like in the information he gives out when it comes to just fitness in general. And this is one of the topics where that really bugs me. And again, I'm not big on calling people out. I don't like doing this, but to me it's almost getting to a point where it's borderline and negligence. In one of his recent videos, he did a video on the 3 golden rules for squatting. And one of the rules that he said was you have to squat ass to grass on every single rep. And he said that, with mobility work, you'll be able to squat ass to grass, and that if you quarter squat, the reps don't count. They're wasted reps. And then if you go to parallel and you stop at parallel, you're just going to hurt your knees, which could not be further from the truth. I mean, you can even see holes in the logic there. I mean, if you're squatting ass to grass, you have to go past the point where you're going parallel. So how is it that stopping parallel is going to hurt your knees? I don't really see the point of that. He didn't even explain his reasoning for that. But I'm just going to go over the reason why saying that you have to squat ass to grass is wrong, completely wrong. And what I think is negligent about it is that a lot of people can't squat ass to grass, okay? They can't. It's nothing to do with mobility. It has nothing to do with stretching or doing a good warm-up or a good form. It has nothing to do with that. Nothing. Yes, those things can help increase range of motion. When I do my first set of bar squats, like squats with just the bar before I do during my mobility routine for squats, I can't really go that low at all. I can't even go to parallel without having shitty form. But after I do my whole mobility routine and I do my rehearsal sets, I can get just below parallel. That's for me. But again, not everyone can do that. So yes, mobility work. I'm not saying mobility work doesn't help. I'm not saying a good warm-up doesn't help. It helps. But it does not mean that you are guaranteed to go ass to grass. It's only going to help improve upon the range of motion that you can get. And in his video, he stated that you had to go ass to grass. And a lot of people in his comment section were, saying when I go ass to grass, even when I do mobility work, my low back rounds, or I feel like I'm caving over and I just feel like my squat feels weird. You can go check the comments yourself. There's a handful of people that say that. Not too many. A lot of people are just kind of eating it up and not questioning it, which I think is really bad to just question. Again, you guys can all fact check my stuff. And I try to, look up the information that I, give you guys and think about it and not just put some wishy-washy kind of blanket statement on an exercise. And if I am wrong, I'll definitely admit that I was wrong on something, But even then, there's a difference between being wrong on something and not actually doing any type of research or not actually looking up anything on a subject. And honestly, it's hard to believe that he even looked this up at all, because it doesn't take that much digging to find that not everyone can squat ass to grass. In the video, he's just demonstrating ass to grass squats as if everyone can do them. And what kind of bugs me and why I just think it's borderline negligence is that it's so ignorant of biomechanics. Like, no shit, you might be able to squat ass to grass, but not everyone else can. You might be able to make it look easy because you have different limb lengths, you have different proportions between your femur, your torso, and your tibias. You might not have bony constraints in your ankles to prevent you from good amounts of Dorsey flexion. There's lots of things that go into it. It's not just do some mobility work and then you can go all the way down. It's not as easy as that. So I'm just going to explain why that's wrong. And I guess I got to get that intro out the way and just say that. But as you can tell by this picture, and this is just a very basic kind of overlay of what the reasoning is behind that, is that not everyone can squat ass to grass, Look at this picture right here. These are just little models of people and how we're kind of basically are, This green bar is your tibia, your shin bone. This yellow bone is your femur, or, the bone in your thigh. And then this red line is your torso or your spine, all the way up to your head. So from your butt to your head. basically, just to make it a little bit more simple. Now, everybody's built differently. You know, some people have long thighs, some people have long legs, and then some people have longer torsos or short femur, short torso, you know, short tibia. And then what this picture doesn't go over, which adds another, which adds kind of like another overlay to it, would be your dorsiflexion range of motion, which is going to be able to increase, you know, how deep you go and how neat your squat looks as well. And then also too, your ability to abduct, like horizontally abduct at the hip. So again, like, and I'll show you a different picture right now. But again, this one right here, long femur, short torso, this is gonna be your typical bad squatter. You're gonna be you're the type of person that when you try to go ass to grass, like let's just say you listen to Scott and then you just try to go ass to grass, you do all your mobility work. Yes, you might be able to go from like a quarter squat to a parallel squat and make it look okay, but you're probably, I bet money that you're not gonna be able to get to an ass to grass squat without looking like complete shit, without completely destroying your low back in the process, and you having the worst form ever. Because again, when you have a long femur, it pushes your hips back further. Because you have a short torso, you have to bend over forward more to keep the bar over your center of gravity. And because you have maybe shorter tibias, you're not going to be able to sit as nicely in the squat. So, and a lot of this you have to understand is that during a squat, you have the bar on your back during the back squat. You have the bar on your back. The bar has to stay over your center of gravity. You can't just sit back because then you'll fall on your ass. And you can't just go straight forward because then you're going to fall on your face. You have to be over your center of gravity because guess what? If you're not, you wouldn't be standing. So that's going to change the mechanics of a squat. So like this person, this white line is your center of gravity and that's where the bar's at. Or, you know, give or take a little bit, but essentially it's where the bar's at. So this person would be your typical bad squatter. Never going to be able to go ATG. Not going to happen. You can improve your depth a little bit with some work, but you're never going to be able to go ATG. Now you can remedy this by going wider in the squat, like widening your stance, and by maybe doing a little bit of like dorsiflexion mobility and warm up, you know, or using like a heel raised shoe, like a squat shoe, like in this picture right here. This guy has these Adidas. These have a heel raise on them, and it's going to shift your knees a little bit further forward. It's going to put your center of gravity a little bit, it's going to move it a little bit more forward, so you're going to be able to stay more upright in the squat. This is kind of like your average person. Center of gravity again, a little bit shorter femur, a little bit longer torso. I don't know if this picture messes with the tibia length, but longer tibias are going to help with this too. If your tibia was way up here, your butt's going to be able to go a little bit more forward. But again, just talking about these two. But your femur length, I'm not sure of like the percentages, but I think it's your femur length that's going to apply. Your femur and your torso are going to play most of the effect and how this feels. So this would be like your average person. Personally, I mean, I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't have like, I can just barely get below parallel with my squat after doing a bunch of mobility work. But you might be, you know, depending on you, you might be somewhere in this room. Now, this is someone who has good mechanics for a squat. They have a really long torso, they have short femur, and they have longer tibias. As you can see in this model, we don't all have the same length femur, we don't all have the same length torso. This person is going to be able to sit back and sit deep really nicely while keeping the center of gravity, the bar over their center of gravity, but in a very upright position. Their hips don't have to go back as far. And because they have such a long torso, their torso is going to be long enough that where they place the bar at is going to nicely sit over their center of gravity without them having to be so hunched over. So again, this is just a very basic picture that you can look up. Again, this is just understanding that we are not all built the same. Haven't you met someone with long legs and a shorter, like upper body, a shorter torso, or someone with a longer torso or shorter like thighs? You know, it's a fact. So knowing that it's an absolute fact that we are not built the same, we are all not going to be able to squat to the same depth. Yes, technically we all could go ass to grass, but guess what? It's not going to be with good form. So what would you rather have? You stop at parallel, or, you know, even if the worst case scenario, if you, let's just say you have terrible like biomechanics and you know, the way you're built is just jacked up. Let's just say the lowest you could go was just above parallel. Would you want that with a healthy low back, you know, healthy posture, no problems, you know, nothing hurt? Or would you like force yourself to go ATG, which is ass to grass, and destroy your low back, be folded over no matter what you do, you're completely caving, and then you're hurting, you know, you have a much greater increased risk for herniated disc, all these things. And again, it doesn't make any sense. Now again, there's other things that can play into this. Like I said, if you widen your stance, you're going to be able to decrease the forward back motion that you have to go. And if you have a heel raised shoe, then you're going to be able to shift your center of gravity a little bit more forward, so you're not going to be able to have to go back as far. Try this with yourself. Stand up and put your feet really close together, like really close together. Basically have your legs touching. Try to do a squat like that. You're going to feel like your butt, your hips have to shoot back a lot more, and you feel like you have to bend over more forward. Maybe try this with just the bar. If the bar is not heavy for you, assuming the bar is really light for you, try that. Just with a few reps, just nothing heavy and nothing crazy. I don't want you to hurt yourself. Just experiment. Now, widen your feet a little bit, and then put some plates into your feet, and then see how that feels. You're going to be able to sit more upright. Also, do another test. This is another good example to prove what I'm saying is do a goblet squat. Do a squat with the dumbbell held up in front of you. Because the dumbbell's in front of you, your center of gravity shifted a little bit more forward. More of the mass is in front of you than behind you. And you're going to be able to feel like the squat's going to feel a lot nicer and neater. It's going to feel like you're able to sit down. Like look at yourself in a mirror with a goblet squat. Now on a back squat, the bar is further back and more of the weight shifted a little bit more backwards. So then you're going to understand that, okay, that makes more sense. Now, I have to give credit to this video and personaltraining.com. You guys should definitely check out this video and this website. I give them all the credit, you know. This video goes over it in a very, very, very excellent way. He has a little dummy that he covers with this, and it has a lot of views already. But if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend you check it out. This guy really goes over it very well. I think it's an excellent video. I'm not going to go over it here because, again, I'd rather you go to his channel, give him the views, and then subscribe to him if you guys like his channel. But he goes over it very well and explains that he changes the little lengths on the torso, the tibia, and the femur. And then you can see with this little model, and this bar going up and down, see this bar, it's a little rod that's behind the guy, that's straight up and down, is where you can think of that as like the center mass, where basically everything has to be around, has to center around, or you're going to fall forwards or backwards. You're going to fall on your face or your ass. So he plays with the proportions, and then you can see yourself how that's how people are. People are different, and how it's going to affect how you can squat. You know, not everyone's going to squat the same. So basically what I'm trying to, and I guess the summary is that not everyone can squat ass to grass. That is a very blanket statement. It's a very ignorant statement. It basically shows me that you don't know the basic fundamentals of just biomechanics at all. It's not even an super advanced topic. It's a very basic topic. To me, when you say you have to go ass to grass, that you're basically just telling me that you're saying a very popular and flashy statement. It almost sounds like you're doing it to sound cool. Like, if you don't go ass to grass, it doesn't count because that's the hard way to do it. No, some people, I feel like when people say that, they almost think the people that follow them or the people that listen to them are stupid. Like, you think that people aren't doing this because some people quarter squat because they're putting way too much weight on the bar, their form looks like shit, and they just don't want to leave their ego at the door, and they want to look cool with 315 on when maybe 225 would be better, or 185 would be better, with range of motion that's good for them. But that's not everybody. So do you think everybody's doing that? No, some people just can't go that low. You think that they haven't tried these things? You think they haven't tried to do mobility work? There are many people who have tried mobility work. They keep getting told they have to go ass to grass, which is annoying as hell. They keep doing mobility work, and they keep trying to go ass to grass when they shouldn't be doing that. They're going to be hurting themselves. You know, it doesn't make you not a tough guy or a weak guy or a weakling if you don't go ass to grass in a squat, because you're going to fuck up your low back in the process. So again, you don't have to go ass to grass. Just make sure you're doing mobility work. Make sure you do a good, healthy a well-timed, dynamic warm-up, not just a few rehearsal sets of squats, a good mobility routine before you do your rehearsal sets, then do your rehearsal, your practice sets, your warm-ups, then go into your working sets. Do that every single time you do leg day. Do that. And then besides that, do other stretches completely separate from the workout 2 or 3 times a week. If you do that and you have healthy, good form, you do mobility work, and then you can see where your range of motion is at. You have to play with your foot stance. You might, me personally, I like wearing heel raise shoes. You might need a slight heel raise, a heel raise shoe or something. Just slightly, nothing crazy, like a quarter inch, a half inch, a max 3/4 inch. You don't need more than that. Play with your stance a little bit, and you'll see what works for you. Now, go to a depth where again, I've seen this argued by a physical therapist that I follow, like, go to a depth where you don't see excessive butt wink or any butt wink at all. But again, I've seen a physical therapist talk about, his name's Quinn Hennock, that a crumb of butt wink is unavoidable. You can never not move your pelvis at all during a squat, like front to back. But for the most part, you don't want any butt wink. For the most part, you want a healthy looking squat. So if that's to parallel, that's good. You're not going to hurt your knees doing that. If that were the case, then every power lifter that was in existence would have jacked up knees, because they all squat just to below parallel. So literally, it's about parallel. So that makes no sense. So that advice he gives, in my opinion, and I know it's nothing against Scott, but it was terrible. So if you guys have any questions, comments, please post them down below. Again, I normally don't do this. I don't like calling people out, but it just feels like he didn't research that question at all. He just wanted to shoot flashy statements out by saying, like, you have to squat ATG or it doesn't count. You're wasting reps. No, that's stupid. That's ridiculous. Most people I know can't squat ATG. I would almost say the opposite. Most people I don't think should squat ATG, because they just don't have the mobility to do it. They don't have the hip structure to do it. They don't have the ankle structure to do it. So again, and I wanted him to explain his side. He didn't explain it. He just said the reps don't count. You hurt your knees. How is that going to hurt your knees? That makes no sense. So, again, if you guys have any questions, comments, leave them down below, but I will see you guys next time.